Okay, everybody. All right, now we're live. I can see the end stream. What's up, everybody? It's your boy MM2K. I'm here with Cold Blood. If you are a member, welcome to the actual live show. We were just kicking it with members, as we will be doing with Early Bird Special for all this weekend, at least this week. It might spill over the next week. I was kind of talking to one of the people that I report to, and they're thinking about having me do the schedule just for one more week too, but we'll see. Anywho, yeah, so Early Bird Special has been pushed back to 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. From 1 to 2, we kick it with the members, and then from 2 to 4, we'll be over here with you guys talking about the latest and greatest in gaming. And man, oh man, oh man, do we have a special podcast for you. So welcome everybody. I know normally we do like a 15-minute video, but I think we got something to occupy our 15 minutes. Cold Blood, because we were sitting with the members and we were looking at Shattered Space. You see Shattered Space on your screen there, right? So Shattered Space currently only has 4 scores? It only has 4 scores, but it has a 60 meta, but one of those scores actually came from Xbox Era, who gave the game a freaking 80. Holy cow. So how do you give the game an 80? You give the game an 80 out of 4 scores, and it still only got a 60, and it got a 90 from somebody else. So holy shit. So we're about to look. I'm about to do like this equation to try to figure out how this is. But give me a second as people are filing in. Please hit the like button. While we're doing that, waiting for people to file in before I finish this equation. Hey, Cold Blood, how you doing today, good brother? What's going on with you, man?
Doing good, bro. Laughing at Starfield. Wait, did we do that like almost half of 2023?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Game of the generation, bro. This is embarrassing for Bethesda. Embarrassing.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you can see, Kid Smooth, we were responding to what Kid Smooth said, because Kid Smooth was like, I'm convinced dorks just hate video games. But bro, it's not even that. Like, I would take what Kid Smooth said into consideration if we saw Kid Smooth out here like, Star Wars Outlaws is awesome, and you know, if he was looking at PlayStation games like, oh, Destruction All-Stars, that's not really a bad game. Concord ain't that bad. If he was out here saying shit like, if he was out here capping across the board, or he liked minimum shit across the board or mid shit across the board, then there would be credence to his argument. There is none, because he just caps for the Xbox trash. He doesn't sit out, like, he's one of the ones that put all these lofty expectations. Oh, Spider-Man had bugs that I never experienced. That's a horrible game. That's unacceptable. Oh, Stellar Blade, too many boobs and nips out. Now, unacceptable. You put all these stringent expectations on the PlayStation games, but then you cap for the Xbox games. Nobody's paying attention to you, man. The game just fucking sucks. I went to go try to play Starfield again because I really liked how that Ascension mod looked. And I remember Cold Blood was telling me, you guys were probably here for it. Cold Blood was telling me, oh man, that and then I was telling Cold Blood, I was like, oh, that Ascension mod, that makes Starfield look cool, man. I want to try some of that shit. Cold Blood was like, why? I was like, cuz, man, it might make the game a little bit more fun. Wrong. the game is just inherently boring for too fucking long, man. It's just inherently boring for too long. It's not. It's not a good game. I feel like the game was like, as far as depth in the shit that you could do that was handcrafted, like the handcrafted missions and side missions and things. I feel like maybe because a lot of people praise the side missions, right? A lot of people say the side missions are cool, but I think like the main quest and just maybe just random stuff that normally are good within the Bethesda game, I think they weren't at the point of finishing those yet when Microsoft just said, fuck it, we gotta release this. Our Game Pass schedule is pathetic, and I'm sorry, we gotta put this out here. It's just not there. And one of the arguments that I made, which I'll argue anybody, I was a Bethesda fanboy. Don't nobody know more about Bethesda than I do. I actually had a friend who was a developer at Bethesda who got me on Elder Scrolls Online when that motherfucker was beta. So I got to, or no, alpha. He got me on an alpha. It wasn't even considered closed beta. Like, I wasn't even supposed to have access to this motherfucker. This was like access for other people that they hand selected to help like test the game and shit like that. My friend got me a copy of that, and I was playing that, and that was back before it got before it got controller support. You know me, I can't play keyboard and mouse, so I had to go download. I forgot the name of that app. I had to download an app on my computer and map the key, bind the keys and shit like that in order to play controller. So I saw like the early iterations of the game, which were kind of rough, but still, you know, I had a friend at Bethesda for a short period of time that helped me get access there. Like, I will battle anybody on old school Bethesda shit, because I was a big time Bethesda fanboy. The height of a Bethesda experience for those that are fans of it is, at the very least, when you come across a cave in an Elder Scrolls game or a building in a Fallout game, you know that's like the apex of the experience, because you're going to run into some crazy ass terminals, or you're going to get some crazy lore while you're in there. You're going to run into some crazy enemies. You're going to come across the dead body that got a crazy ass note that's going to tell you a story about the place that you're in, or more about the game overall. And then you're going to get to the end, after you've journeyed everywhere in that thing. You're going to get to the very end, and you're going to fight some fucking crazy thing, or there's going to be some crazy contraption or some crazy trap, and it'll be all the more worth it, because you're going to get some crazy ass item that's going to change your gameplay from here on out. It's going to change everything from here on out. It's like when you went into the building and found where the Lincoln was in fucking Fallout 3. And there's countless other things like that. It is akin to The Legend of Zelda and going into a cave in The Legend of Zelda. How many feel that's the apex of that experience? That's the apex of your experience with. And in Starfield, when you go through these areas, these buildings, it's boring. It's fucking boring. And then there is no reward. There's nothing at the end of these buildings that changes your gameplay forever. You get a bunch of fucking gear and guns that have all these colors to the name, but they're meaningless. They mean nothing. At best, they might sell at a good price. That is not the Bethesda experience. And for all intents and purposes, Shattered Space is more of that. That's why it's getting low scores. It's trash. I need to stop this shit. Like I said, if y'all were capping across the board, if they were capping across the board, cold blood, I'd be like, okay. You know, they just have, unique tastes. Bless they heart. But that's not it. Y'all just capping for Redfall and Phantom Dust original assets. Super Lucky's Tales. So nobody wants to hear that shit. So, but I'm about to do this equation. Shout out to everybody. I want to shout you out in chat. Let's get this shit up here. We can shout people out in the chat. Hold on. Let me fix this so we can do that. Yeah. Yeah. Close that. Definitely don't need that. Bog down our systems. What else we got here? All right. And then put that up. All right, we good to go. We good to go. All right, let's go to the social. Let's go to the social. We got Geek to Sneak in here. It's like, yeah. We got Royal Vision. He says, MM2K, let's go. Hope all is well. Thank you, my friend. We got Mary Wilcox. So the DLC for the game of the generation has a lower Metacritic score than the main game itself. Imagine that. What's up, family? Says Juice. Andrew Wilkins. Y'all remember when Smooth filmed his stage giveaway and he gets mad when people point out how stupid Xbox fans are? We got Dark Zone 2525. He says, yep. Even Phil likes the PlayStation 5 Pro. He can't wait to put Starfield on the yeah. Oh yeah. Look, people are laughing at that Dark Zone, but the fact of the matter is, yes, because they don't have to sell a console in order to sell the game now. They don't give a fuck if the game. They don't care about Xbox anymore. Cold Blood. We were just talking about. What's the name? Metaphor fan. How do you pronounce that game? I know I'm horrible at that shit. What's it called again?
Well, we all know what it's called, bro.
Metaphor Fantasia or whatever.
Don't worry about it.
The Atlas RPG. We will call it that. Where Xbox has the marketing rights, right?
Yeah.
And Cold Blood, you were talking earlier about why that was stupid. Like, if you could just elaborate here, why did you think it was stupid for them to give Xbox the marketing rights?
Because what's the point? Besides completely fucking your own game?
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, legit, nobody knows what the fuck it is besides the real hardcore JRPG fans.
Yeah.
Nobody else gives a fuck about this game.
Mm-hmm.
Or doesn't even know it exists, or says, when is it coming to PlayStation?
Yeah.
Those are the three things I hear the most about this game. Which is totally dumb. Like, Atlas fucked themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, if they had a Game Pass deal, like you said, man, maybe it would make more sense for them to market this game. But that way, bro, what you expect to sell 10K copies now?
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Like, you counter argue against your console. Like, even the fucking people at Tokyo Game Show said, oh, okay, all right, Phil, you've convinced me. I'm going to get a Fire TV. Like, he didn't say I'm going to get an Xbox console. He said, okay, now I'll get a Fire TV. So if this thing isn't going into Game Pass day and day, I don't get what the point of a marketing deal is. You've cannibalized the use and the necessity of your console. So this was stupid. What? So PlayStation? I mean, were they money hatting Cold Blood? Did they money hat the marketing deal for this game because they felt like, oh, this would be even worse for us if PlayStation gets the market? I don't get it.
Or maybe they thought on PlayStation it's gonna sell by default, so we have to do marketing for Xbox.
Maybe that was
the fucking. That was the fucking idea, but goddamn it backfired on
Oh
you.
yeah, backfired. Yeah, oh yeah, that was probably Atlas's idea. I'm trying to get to the bottom of what Xbox thought, because you cannibalized the use of your console. You made it like, if anybody's considering Xbox that doesn't already have one or isn't part of the ecosystem, the last thing they're thinking about is the console. That's the last thing they're thinking about.
Like, bro, look, the people that are on Twitter saying they don't know what the fuck it is. Yeah. Imagine how bad it is for people that don't give a shit about none of this.
Exactly. Yes.
They have no idea what the fuck this game
is. Yes. Yeah, Atlas, well, yeah, that's a whole nother, yeah, Atlas, they just shot themselves in the foot. But to Dark Zone 525's point, yeah, I mean, into what Jason was saying earlier, they don't know which direction they want to go in. First, they want to make the console seem not necessary. Then they want to do a marketing deal that only boosts up your console. Like, what is the point? So, of course, because they've wrecked the console and the messaging and the actions are so confusing, of course, they would love for Indiana Jones to look great on the PlayStation 5 Pro. They don't care how embarrassing it is to their community. They don't care about the community anymore. They do not care. They cut the ambassadors program. They just got rid of you. All you motherfuckers had to claim for your stake was Game Pass. They don't even want to give y'all Game Pass. They don't even want to give the 5 of you ambassadors Game Pass. I don't know what else is slop my meat sideways than that. But whatever. And you guys want to come out here and cap and say shit like this, I'm convinced dorks hate video games. No, the game is ass. It's ass cheeks.
Wait, it's ass cheeks if your standards are high. But with these bots, we know exactly where their standards are, bro. Exactly at 60 and 69. That range. Bruh. That is their quality standard.
And J-Dub, you a motherfucker. You need to stop doing this. All right, you're traumatizing all these fanboys. You know, god damn. He says, damn, Starfield couldn't beat a dead game. That's crazy. And they got Concord at 62 and Starfield shatters space at 60. That's horrible, bro. That is horrible. Look, the game just ain't no good. But here's what I also want to show you guys too, because this is what we're looking at right here. And we're going to do some quick math because Xbox era, Special Nick has proven on multiple occasions that he has access to some information, and that's always good. But when it comes down to these guys' analysis and stuff, oh my God, be careful. Look at this shit. So this is the meta. It's 60, right? Cold-blooded 60, but there's only 4 reviews right now. 2 of them are actually positive, Xbox Era and Gaming Bible. But Pure Xbox and The Guardian gave it 50 and 40. So it's at 60? Like, if you do the math, that scores 260, and reasonably so. If you divide it, well, I guess that's true. If you divide it by 4, the score would be 65. So not too far off. But of course, it shows you that some people are weighted more than others. Bro, they're definitely weighted more than others.
Pure Xbox gave that 50 score because they couldn't play it on a Pro.
Yeah, so the score would be 65. No, it's just nobody. The game. Look, man, mods can't help this thing. Like, I'm curious to hear what you think, Cold Blood, but here's how I think Starfield can make a comeback, like a cyberpunk type of comeback. I don't know. People claim, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. People claim that Starfield actually gets good at some point in time. I don't believe it, but whatever. Anything's possible, because in Cyberpunk did get somewhat better when you run into the Voodoo Boys, right? When you get to the Voodoo Boys, it start getting somewhat better. So, it is possible. But they need to do what Cyberpunk did. All that shit before you run into the Voodoo Boys, all that shit needs to be eliminated. Somehow. Through an expansion, whatever. They're like, all that shit before the Voodoo Boys with Phantom Liberty becomes, what do you call that? It becomes, optional. You start off as Phantom Liberty right after you do the Voodoo Boys mission. Starfield needs to do the same thing. They need to find a place where, quote unquote, the game gets good. I don't know if it's 40 or 50 hours in, and they need to start you off at that point. And even if they gotta bump you up instead of you grinding to that point, they need to bump you up to that point. They did something similar to Fallout 76, where a lot of this shit in Fallout 76 that people didn't like at the beginning, they did those. There's two modes. There's classic mode, and then there's new gameplay, whatever they call it. And in the new mode, they bump you up, I think, to level 20, and they automatically do all that shit in the game's beginning that people were like, this is bullshit. They got to do the same thing with Starfield for it to even have a chance, in my opinion. And then what you do is you make you focus on like 10 planets, bruh. You make all the other planets pointless, except for future DLC. Like, you do the bulk of your shit, your Phantom Liberty moment, in your future expansions only focus on, you go back and forth between 10 planets, and everything that you do on those planets is handcrafted. Now, if you want to do like to go to the generated panels that are on planets, let that be additive. Kind of like how if you play Fallout 4 and you want to do the Minecraft elements, you can do them, but you don't need to do them in order to play the game. Like all that going to these planets and just randomly generated shit, that needs to be extra. But at the heart of the game, everything needs to be generated, handcrafted. Fuck the bullshit. In my opinion, that's the only way you bring this game back. I don't know. Is there any way they can bring this game back, in your opinion, Cold Blood?
Rewrite history. I don't see how they're gonna do it. Nah, this Phantom Liberty style DLC won't save it. No. The base game has to be fucking good, and it's not. Mm-hmm. So everything after that, bro, who gives a fuck? I don't see it, bro. I think Concord has a better chance, to be honest.
Oh shit! God damn! God damn!
I'm serious right now.
God damn!
But for Concord to do that, bro, they literally have to do hundreds of millions of dollars more development.
Yeah, I would just give it up, man. I would literally give it up.
Bro, if the foundation of your game is fucking broken, no DLC is gonna save it. That's my belief.
Here, let's look at this. This is David Jaffe.
Because look, wait. In Cyberpunk, the foundation was there. Just the base game sucked, but the foundation was there. With Starfield, hell no.
You said nothing.
It's rotten from the core, bro.
Mm-hmm. Game is so boring, bro. Like here goes Jaffe trying to play this shit. It's just boring. It looks good, like and it fucks with you because it looks good visually. Like, I'm not saying look at this shit. Look at what. Oh, is that supposed to happen on purpose, or is it glitching on him? I don't know what's going on. It looks good visually. It's not awesome, but it looks good. And so then you look at a Bethesda game that actually looks good. You're like, oh shit, this could be some engrossing stuff, and it's not engrossing. It's just fucking gross. God damn. Yeah, the game is cool. Stop capping for this shit, man. Just stop it. Like someone said in this thread, with Kid Smooth, just expect better, man. Just demand better. Here it goes. Demand better, or just demand better. All you can do. All right. Well, my friends, that was enough of that. I just saw that and I'm like, this media bias shit again. Like, we really gonna work that? Like, aren't you guys tired of that? Aren't you guys tired of getting dog shit? Like, don't y'all want to start getting good experiences on that? Don't you want something out of your $500 purchase? Don't you? You're not gonna get it this way. You're not gonna get it this way. Like, PlayStation shut down Concord, moved on, because even though there were some people capping out there were way more PlayStation fans that were like, we never asked for this. You thought that you could force this down our throats. You're gonna fuck around and find out. And they did. They said, okay, sorry, Herm, your little pet project, don't nobody give a fuck. But y'all cap for this shit. Oh, Redfall isn't, man, leave Redfall alone. Redfall ain't that bad. Y'all cap for this shit, and then Xbox just says, okay, well, we're going to, we'll keep moving with it until they themselves realize, okay, yeah, this ain't making no money. Close down the studio or whatever. All right. We actually had a show focused on one of the more ridiculous things that I've ever seen in my life. And I was watching somebody like say that this was a good thing. And this wasn't an Xbox zealot that said this. This was somebody who was, I guess, trying to look objectively and said, hey, this is good that Xbox is asking this. And I see it totally different. I don't think it makes any sense for Xbox at this point to be asking, what did we do wrong? Right? Like, what did we do wrong? It'd be different if people were scrambling and trying to understand what happened after the fact. Like with the PlayStation 3, PlayStation genuinely thought they had a 2-generation solution with the cell processor that was not only going to make the PlayStation 3 stand out and look godly, but it was going to be powerful for 2 generations. I can't take that right now. Yeah. So that's what they thought. That for 2 generations, they were going to get something godly, the original generation, and then it would still be powerful enough in the 8th generation to still, hold its own weight. So all PlayStation would have to do is build one console that would fucking last them 2 generations. That would be, if they were able to pull that off, that would have been ingenious for them. And then that would have even sent them in a higher trajectory, if you can imagine it, than they are now. But it didn't work out that way. As the generation was progressing through, they were starting to find that developers were struggling with this thing. They found that out after the fact, that developers were struggling with this thing. And then just developers started coming out, and then there was the infamous thing from Gabe Newell that Sony needs to scrap this. Like, all this shit was revealing post-launch. So then it made sense for PlayStation post-launch of the PlayStation 3 to get with developers like Todd Howard and the people at Bethesda who had a hate relationship with Play. They fucking hated them. But for PlayStation to humble themselves and sit down with them and then ask them, okay, we were totally off our keister, and we really put you guys in a bad loop as far as how well this thing would succeed. Like, it was so bad that, and Sean Layton talked about this, that Japanese developers, they didn't expect the PlayStation 3 to perform this bad. Hold on one second. Hold on. right. Sorry about that, y'all. So, yeah. Xbox. Oh, hold on one second. Hold on. I'm sorry. One more second. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so Xbox in turn is asking this question now. When PlayStation 3, when they asked this question, that was all the variables that they had to deal with. They had to deal with this stuff hitting them after the fact. Sean Layton even recalled that when PlayStation had these issues, Japanese developers were so taken aback that they had to go and they started making mobile games because they weren't going to make games for Xbox at mass. So they were taken aback. They felt like their only recourse was to start making mobile games. Sean said that it wasn't until like 2014 and 15, after the PlayStation reasserted its dominance, could they go back to the Japanese developers and say, we're back. Now you can come back and start making AAA and games for the console again, right? That's how much of a blow and how taken aback everybody was by the lack of performance by the PlayStation 3. Now, that was that. Xbox in turn, they did not. This is what is frustrating about Xbox. Xbox did not have the same problem. Number one, Xbox replicated the same problem that they had with the Xbox One. What am I talking about? Well, Xbox had the Xbox One X, right? The Xbox One X was supposed to fix the problem that Donnie D, Cold Blood's favorite platform president, excuse me, Donnie D had created, which was he made a console that was focused on other things besides gaming, and therefore it was underpowered in gaming. Now, the Xbox One's underperformance wasn't as bad as the PlayStation 3's underperformance at launch. But again, PlayStation 3 is more of a home name, especially globally. So even though it did have a negative impact, PlayStation can still compete, even though they have a significant blow. That's how well ahead they were. Xbox can't. So number one, Donnie D, looking at PlayStation, just seeing what they went through and putting too much focus on things other than games with the SRAM that they were trying to use for multimedia stuff, that underpowered games. So him looking at PlayStation 3 and their woes for all this other shit that they were trying to do, and the fact that they were trying to create this crazy architecture that would last 2 generations. His decision to pretty much do the same thing and think it was worth the risk was boneheaded and idiotic. And it was the plight of the Xbox One, right? So to defend Phil, which you never hear me do, but again, I'm coming down the middle on this. To defend Phil, he walked into that situation. Well, to defend Phil as it comes to the hardware, he walked into that. That was Donnie D's decision. He had nothing to do with that. So when he made the Xbox One, which was a mid-gen refresh, he could not lump out the original Xbox One that had the SRAM in it. They had to take account for all those original Xbox. So in other words, what I'm saying is he couldn't make games that only worked on the Xbox One X. That would not have been fair to gamers. They had to work across the board. So he was bottlenecked by the original Xbox that had the SRAM in it. He was bottlenecked by that. And there was nothing he could do about that because he walked into that hardware problem. But I don't know if the coke that they're snorting at Redmond is laced with PCP and they don't just get hyped of it. They just repeat old mistakes. I don't know what it is. But something told Phil, like something told Donnie D, you know what? That was a bad fucking idea that PlayStation did. Let's somewhat emulate it. Well, Phil in return said, you know what? That was a bad fucking idea from PlayStation that Donnie D emulated. I'm going to emulate it too. Meaning, let's create bottlenecks for our hardware. What was the bottleneck? The bottleneck was the Series S. I showed you guys not too long ago where even Brad Sam, here, let's fucking do this live. Let's do this live. Where Brad Sams, let's go to YouTube. Oh, no, that's wrong. Let's go to YouTube. Let's go to MM2K Gaming. Right? This is me. Let's go to our channel. View your channel. And let's go to let's see here. Let's go to fuck. Where's that? Oh, right here. Let's type in Brad Sams. Brad Sams. See what we get. Oh, it's this video. This video from you. Okay. So here's what I want to do. This is a video that I made 4 fucking years ago, right before the launch of the Series X and the Series S, where Xbox Aficionado, part of the Paul Thurrott think tank, if y'all don't know who Paul Thurrott is, shame on you. You should know this stuff by now because I talk about him routinely. The Paul Thurrott think tank are a group of influencers or creators or whatever that talk all things Microsoft. Paul is so entrenched in all the goings of Microsoft. He was cool with all the former execs. Him and fucking Terry Myerson, they were cool. Like, he was cool with a lot of the old guard. When Satya Nadella took over and started expelling people and started putting in his new people, Paul Thurrott still had connect. He wasn't cool with a lot of them, but he still had a lot of internal connections that gives him a lot of great information to this day. So if you are someone that is interested in understanding what happens with Microsoft, you should be listening to Paul Thurrott. Go to his website or check him out when he's on Twit, TWITT on YouTube. Check him out. Anyway, if you want to just know about the Xbox part of that, Brad Sams is part of the Paul Thurrott think tank group, where his focus is purely Xbox. So some of the most outright knowledgeable people about Microsoft and Xbox are in the Paul Thurrott think tank group. And what they do at the Paul Thurrott think tank is they may be Microsoft and Xbox enthusiasts, but whether something good or bad is happening, they're going to tell you what's happening. They're not going to sugarcoat it. They're not going to do what a lot of these creators do and try to put everything in a good light with Microsoft. They are here to simply tell you what the fuck is going on. So, at the hype of the lead up to the Xbox Series X and S, Brad Sams came out with a report that said, hey, Xbox was going to do 2 consoles. This is when they scrapped Lockhart. Lockhart was the Series S. In his video, which you're going to hear an excerpt from that I did in my video, Brad Sams tells you what happened to the original Lockhart. Because Xbox's original idea was to approach developers and say, hey, look, we want to make 2 consoles. We want to make a console that will be a cheap entrant for people to upgrade at $300. And these are going to be the specs. And then we want to have a regular console, which is going to be $500. And here's the specs. And what developers actually did is they looked at the Xbox Series X, which was Scarlet. It's codenamed Scarlet at the time. They said, hey, look, this Scarlet thing is fucking awesome. We can do it. We can do some shit with Scarlet. But this Lockhart thing, this shit can suck a bag of dicks. We don't want this. Matter of fact, here's what we're gonna do, Phil. If you are going to repeat the same fucking problems that we just had last gen with Xbox One versus Xbox One X, and why we really didn't really flesh out the powers of the One X and made the One X a fucking waste of time, like the only developer that really put their effort into the One X was Rockstar with Red Dead Redemption 2. If you want to repeat that, here's what we're going to do. We are going to develop our games totally with the Series S in mind as far as power, and then we'll scale up where we can to the X, meaning we're not going to build our games to take advantage of the special X tool sets. We're just going to scale up to accommodate certain resolutions or whatever, performance or whatever, but we're not going to totally utilize the tool sets during the X. And Phil said, oh, fuck no. Fuck that water. We don't want that. So then they went back to the drawing board. And then they said, okay, well, what we're going to, and you heard this a lot, but you heard this being thrown out there rather during this time. Remember when Phil Spencer came out at, I think it was XO19, and they were asking, they're like, hold on, we heard that there was a Scarlet. And Phil was like, nah, we're only talking about one console. That was because when the developers came back and said to Phil Spencer, this Lockhart idea fucking sucks, and this is what we're going to do. We wish you would, motherfucker. Fuck around and find out. They scrapped Lockhart. And then what they were going to do was going to release the Series X. And then your low entry into Xbox was going to be xCloud. That is until Stadia came out. And when Stadia came out, it was better performing, was actually outperforming your console as far as 60 frames per second was going. Yeah, you might have had the better resolution, but you were getting better frame performance out of Stadia, out of your console at the time, which was the Xbox One. Xbox then said, hey, there's no way that we can release a next gen solution that's worse than a current gen cloud service. We can't do that. So then at the last moment, when everybody's high-fiving each other and laughing and having tea, and they're like, can you believe what those Xbox, the motherfuckers at Xbox did? Yeah, what's wrong with that Phil Spencer? I think he's on PCP. Yeah, after everybody was having those conversations, like, ooh, thank goodness we averted that problem. And he came to his senses. At the last minute, they updated the GDK, which is the development toolkit for making games on Xbox, and then they added Lockhart back in there. And that is where you heard the grumblings right before launch, where developers were coming out and telling you, no, this sucks. Please get rid of Lock. They've been saying that since the beginning. But what happened? You, the Xbox community, you called them liars. You said they were haters. You said they were wood buffing PlayStation, and you didn't listen to the devs. You didn't listen to the developers. Hence, you are where you are right now. I'm going to play you an excerpt from 4 fucking years ago. And granted, I want to show you guys this. Even though this is from 4 years ago, the audio that I'm about to play from you is actually a year older than that. I snagged it a year after Brad Sam's action. So really, like going into 2018, Brad had released this information. And I didn't snag it, or I didn't come across it until 2019, and I put it in a video. Because what ended up happening is Brad Sams got so much flack when he reported this in 2018. And then he was called a liar because Phil Spencer at EXO 2019, I believe it was, said, oh no, we're only talking about one console, because the Xbox fan base was rabid. Because all that shit was happening, Brad Sams unlisted the video. It's still here. You can go to this video where it's called, did Brad Sams actually already expose the Xbox Series S bottleneck? We reported this 4 years ago. And we base it off of Brad Sam's reporting 5 years ago. So as you guys are in your exodus of having to deal with, you know what, I'm not listening to this content creator anymore. I'm not listening to that content creator anymore because they're full of shit. Who can I listen to? As you're coming to us, I recommend that you motherfuckers go and you go sign up for Brad Sam's as well, right? That being said, let's now play this infamous excerpt to show you that Xbox been knew what the fucking problem was going to be and why they deserve no sympathy. Let's pull it up right now. Let me mark this channel so Cold Blood can hear it too. Not like he hasn't heard it a billion times, but still. Anything to irritate him, I'm all for it. Oh no, whoops. I wouldn't have done it because I marked off the wrong channel. All right, and let's play this video, this excerpt where I show you what Brad Sam said about AKA Lockhart, which was the code name for the Series S. Let's go. It was so goddamn great. I wanted to play it again, but I got to continue with the video. So with that being said, oh, hold on.
The high end. That is.
Let's go back.
And that is not what.
Hold on. Okay.
To this information. Two options.
Okay, hold on.
That details all this. So let's do this right now.
Here we go.
And we'll talk about it on the back end.
That being said, here is what I have heard, and some other people have actually heard very similar things. First off, when you tell a developer to build a game for a next generation console and there are two options, let's just say Lockhart and Anaconda, what you do is you build to make sure that it's going to run well on Lockhart and then scale it up to work well on Anaconda, because it's easier to scale up than it is to scale down. And so Microsoft was getting a lot of feedback from developers who have access to this information in the dev kits saying, hey, we're going to build for Lockhart and then we'll just scale it up and hopefully it looks good and hopefully it runs well and all that good stuff at 4K. And that is not what Microsoft wanted to hear. They wanted to hear, right, that you're going to have these great 1080p experiences and the great 4K. And developers like, look, we have limited resources. We're going to build for the low end and then scale it up because we know it will work on the high end. That is not what Microsoft wants to hear going into the next generation console wars. That being said, here is what.
There you have it. Came from Brad Sams of the Paul Thurrott think tank, and he exposed this 5 years ago, and we talked about it 4 years ago. This is not new. So what does that got to do with this punk ass survey that Xbox is doing? This survey is bullshit. Why do I say it's bullshit? Because you don't need it. You already know what the problem is. All you had to do was listen to the devs 5 years ago when they were telling you what was wrong. And you refused to listen to them. That's all you had to do. You refused to listen to them. You ignored them. And so you play stupid games and you get stupid prizes. And that's what happened. How about instead of you doing, here's what you need to do. Fuck a survey. So this is so out of touch with Xbox. And look, let's get to it. In so many words, every podcast I do this. Here's basically what I'm saying. Phil Spencer is the death of Xbox. Phil Spencer, I repeat, is the death of Xbox. Phil Spencer is the death of Xbox. He doesn't know what he's doing. It's not even about the console anymore. It's just about the brand, period. He's destroying the brand. He is so horrible at this. He is bad. And here's the thing that's even worse. All of the people that are under him are no better, because he's hand-selected people that are incompetent as far as delivering on what would make Xbox great again. None of them. Matt Booty, fuck no. Booty's butt, his ass. So even Sarah Barnes, a mobile person. She has no idea of what is. She has no idea of what makes the community tick. And I'm talking about the broad community, not the extremist fanboys out there. And to be fair to her, that's not her level of expertise. She was hired to do something outside of what the community, the broader community wants. And then the thing that they're looking to do, they don't even know how to execute it properly. Why? Because if you're going to transition gamers are very fickle. If you're going to transition gamers, it's a delicate process. And you got to show them incentive. And at the core of that incentive has to be great games. You can't just say it. We want to give gamers access to great games. You can't do it. It's not a talking point. It literally has to be embroiled in what you fucking do. Like, you got to be able to pick up a game. Like, if Phil Spencer says Crackdown 3 is the game that Xbox gamers deserve, when an Xbox game, when a gamer picks up Crackdown 3, their eyeballs should fucking melt. They shouldn't get brain rot. Like, people have to be able to trust Phil. When Phil Spencer comes out on stage and he introduces Redfall and talks about how he's excited about it and closes out the showcase with Redfall. Redfall should be the best fucking Xbox exclusive since the 360 era. Like, he has to garner that type of trust. PlayStation garners that type of trust because they actually do it. Now, do they have slip-ups? Absolutely. But they actually come through more often than not. Shout out to Juice with the gifted member. Thank you, Juice. And the homie Real Royal Vision got a membership. That's what's up. That's what's up. It's only right. I like to see when faithful followers and supporters actually get a good. God damn it. Get a gifted member. Say that fast 5 times. But that's the problem with Xbox, is that when they roll something out, you can't trust it to be good. You can't even trust it to work. We're gonna put the Xbox on, every fucking thing. From the Series S, this is gonna be a 1440p machine that's 60 frames per second. They gotta unlist their video that made all those claims, and I still got that. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find it. We'll play it. No. They might strike me down for it. Now that I think about it, no. Get that video the fuck out of there. they might strike down the channel. I might get sued and shit. But I downloaded that motherfucker, so it never leaves the archives. All those promises that Jason Ronald and them was doing, they did an actual 15-minute video on that shit. All of it lies. All of it lies. It started way before that, but we're just going to deal with this generation. It started with the Series S. Then we're going to start releasing games at quality. Huh? Where the games at quality at? We're going to give you a game of quality every quarter. Huh? I saw we got to play Hellblade for 15-20 minutes from beginning to end. That's quality. These are we purchased Bethesda for everywhere exclusive for Game Pass. Indiana Jones is going over to PlayStation, and they made the announcement the same fucking day that they told y'all was coming to Xbox. Starfield is going to be the game of the generation. It's scoring lower than fucking Concord, which it was taken off life support. Every critical moment where the gaming community really needed Xbox to deliver, they failed. Where the only thing is they can say, Pentiment is a 10. And, quick resume. What are you quick resuming to? Y'all ain't playing. What are y'all playing? What are you quick resuming to? The Falconer? Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? So, unlike PlayStation, who who launched the PlayStation 3 had one concept going and was totally uprooted and totally surprised them and the entire fucking market was by how it didn't perform up to standard. And they didn't discover that until launch. And look, this is the crazy thing about it. Even though all that shit happened with far less of a war chest, PlayStation was actually able in the last 2 years of the generation. Now, even though Xbox had moved on arrogantly and now we see erroneously and started working on this Kinect thing, they still took it to their advantage. All fears, love, and war. Those last few years when Xbox took their eye off the prize and was focused on Kinect, they made they revitalized the PlayStation, helped, created the Slim, gave it a shorter shelf life, and then games started to perform up to par. And then you started seeing games doing better on the PlayStation than the Xbox, which wasn't happening all generation. Then their exclusives started getting better. Those last 2 years, they really knocked it out of the park. So PlayStation was with a lot less of a war chest. They were able to turn things around within the same generation. What the generation lasted from 2006 to 2012, you might as well say. So in 6 years, in 4 years, actually, in 4 years, all it took PlayStation was 4 years. We're 4 years. We're 4 years into this generation, and 10 years into the tenure of Phil Spencer, and things have just gotten worse. They're actually, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I don't give a fuck. Things are worse now than they were for Xbox at the beginning of the Xbox One generation. Because the Xbox One generation, you were just losing your lead. You were still competitive. I get what Satya Nadella was saying, but Xbox was saved in name only. You might as well say Xbox died, but was still died off back then. And maybe it would have been better if they did sell them off. Because maybe somebody else would have still tried to keep the actual vision intact. Xbox is only a shell of itself now. And to do these fucking surveys right now, what's the point? It's stupid. Microsoft wants to know why devs chose. You know why they chose it. Brad Sams reported on this in 2018. The devs consistently reported on it. Let's read this article. This is comical to me. Microsoft wants to know why devs chose PlayStation 5 over Xbox. Microsoft is keen to hear from developers who are opting to release their games on the PlayStation 5. Let me say this too, because I can't hold this in. I can't hold this in after this article. It would be different if Phil was fired and it was a whole new regime. Phil is still there. He knows why. The company's overhauling its Xbox research division, which was originally, you know what? Maybe what it could be. And bless her heart, if it is her, but she ain't gonna do nothing. She ain't gonna be able to do nothing. Because dudes you gotta be embedded in the culture. And as smart as Sarah Bond is, and as talented as she may be in certain aspects, it's not a level of intelligence that will win you the day here. It's about relatability. You got to be able to relate to the gaming community. And I'm not saying that she's not a gamer. She has gaming in her background. She talks about it with Bloomberg. But I don't think she understands or she can relate to the AAA genre defining gaming brass because of in how they're moving with you don't need a console and all this other shit. Like, quality has to be job number one. When it's not job one, none of this other shit matters. So she can't relate. But this could be because Sarah Bond, who she was still around then, but maybe she wasn't privy to all the original conversations going into the Xbox Series era. And maybe she feels like that there's some things that she'd rather get direct information on versus having to deal with Phil. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But my thing is that surveys aren't going to do it. You got to do what PlayStation did. PlayStation went and had face meetings with all these developers and said, look, we're building a new console. And we understand that we didn't do right by you last time. So tell us, where did we fuck up? And what would you like for us to do next generation? And they did it. And the rest is history. They did it, and the rest is, that's what you need to do. Fuck a survey. That's too, to me, that's off-putting. You need to sit with these developers and do the same thing PlayStation did. If you're going to emulate PlayStation, for crying out loud, at least emulate that from them. Well, I digress. Let me continue. Now it wants to talk to the people behind the games and address pain points. Microsoft says devs using PlayStation 5 will offer a greater perspective to the Xbox team. Over the last year or so, an increasing amount of devs have become vocal about the challenges that the Xbox Series S development poses, which they don't have an option to escape because Microsoft mandates game releases on both the Series X and the inferior Series S. There was also at least 2 cases over the last few months alone of devs publicly announcing that they were skipping Xbox because Microsoft's communication or lack thereof with smaller studios, with games either skipping Xbox entirely or being delayed on the platform. A common misconception is that Sony's money-hatting everything behind the scenes, but conspiracy theories only go so far, and perhaps Microsoft sees the damage it's causing. If you aren't on Xbox, we love to know why, reads a post on Microsoft's game dev site. And honestly, if you are using competitors' products, you probably have a great perspective we could learn from. Microsoft says the idea to avoid an echo chamber and get fresh perspectives from people who aren't deep in your community. That is so, like, to me, just insane on why they even care to handle it this way. I think the best thing that you can do is just simply go and talk to developers one-on-one, face-to-face. Just talk to them and say, look, we have a problem. And that problem is we need to reassess how we're approaching you guys. We know things were rocky. We're looking to fix that. How do we do that? Show us, how do we do that? What is it that, what idealistically, what do you want us to do? Not a fucking survey. That just seems so out of touch. Look at this. The information was already there. What happened? It's a bunch of bullshit to me. All right. So those are my thoughts on Xbox trying to reach out and talk to people about what they would like to see from Xbox. The information was already there. Again, for those of you that are coming in now, that are new, we just played an excerpt. I'll play it one more time, and then I'm going to shut up and get Cold Blood's thoughts on this survey and what it's going to do. You know, if it's even worth it. But I'm going to play this excerpt again from Brad Sams, who talked into this. My video is 4 years old. It's called, Did Brad Sams Already Expose the Xbox Series S Bottleneck Last Year? Because again, Brad Sams said this, even though I recorded this in 2019, Brad Sams had released this information in 2018. So Brad Sams tells you about how the Series S was going to be a bad bottleneck for the Xbox console. Developers had already warned him about it, and apparently Xbox just ignored them, and then rather just let you, the Xbox gamer, do what you normally do, make excuses for Xbox and attack people. They let you run wild. They even helped you instigate it. And now we are where we are today. So let's talk about what let's review what Brad Sams had revealed 5 years ago and why I feel like these surveys are unnecessary. You already got the information that you need. So let's play it and we'll talk about it on the back end again.
Let's just say Lockhart and Anaconda. Being said here.
But with that said, what I want to do now, with no further ado, is play for you the clip from Brad Sams that details all this. So let's do this right now, and we'll talk about it on the back end.
That being said, here is what I have heard, and some other people have actually heard very similar things. First off, when you tell a developer to build a game for a next generation console and there are two options, let's just say Lockhart and Anaconda, what you do is you build to make sure that it's going to run well on Lockhart and then scale it up to work well on Anaconda, because it's easier to scale up than it is to scale down. And so Microsoft was getting a lot of feedback from developers who have access to this information in the dev kit saying, hey, we're going to build for Lockhart and then we'll just scale it up and hopefully it looks good and hopefully it runs well and all that good stuff at 4K. And that is not what Microsoft wanted to hear. They wanted to hear, right, that you're going to have these great 1080p experiences and the great 4K. And developers like, look, we have limited resources. We're going to build for the low end and then scale it up because we know it will work on the high end. That is not what Microsoft wants to hear going into the next generation console wars.
So you hear it. You hear it. You heard Brad Sams break down that developers 5 years ago had already let Xbox know that the Series S was going to be a serious problem, and that to minimize that problem, they wouldn't take advantage of the Series X. And then we heard subsequent stuff other that, you know, afterwards, that it was, you know, just a development pain, period. And Xbox chose to ignore it. They chose to ignore it. They chose to lie to you about what the capabilities were despite all this information. So the developer said, well, fuck it. This is a business partner, but we got to let the consumers know what's going on. And certain developers started coming out and started telling you the truth. And what happened? You rejected the truth. You got mad because you wanted to believe this pipe dream instead of being well informed as a consumer. You got mad and you called them liars, right? These are the same people that are right here telling you, you know, Xbox game or gamers just hate games because Starfield got a 60. Starfield Shattered Space got a 60. That gamers, that dorks don't like games. No, you guys don't like the truth. And it's your inability to accept the truth, whether it's about something that you like or not, that has put you in the situation right now where you're 4 years in. You've gotten bamboozled severely when the information was already out there. We just played it for you. And now you don't know which direction to go. It's on you. I don't know what to tell you guys. Besides, just do better. Do better. And right now, understand that Xbox has the tools to do better. All they got to do is go back to that commentary of 2018. But if this is Sarah Bond's effort of collecting that data from 2018 and just saying, hey, you know what, and then let's take some information after the fact so we leave no stone unturned, I don't mind the effort. I just think doing it in the form of a survey is bullshit. Meet with these motherfuckers. I mean, you're not going to meet with every developer, but you know which core developers to meet with. Like PlayStation knew which core developers to meet with. Hello?
Phil and Sarah, they were both at Tokyo Game Show with these fucking developers.
Yeah.
Why not ask there, bro? What are we doing here?
Oh God, I don't. Yeah. What are your total thoughts on this, bro?
They are helpless.
Yeah. No, that's
If this is what they want to do a fucking service now for developers. Why are we so why are we so bad at gaming? Bro, what is going on? I was like, nah, this has to be a joke article, right? And then I looked at it, it's fucking real, bro. I was like, oh nah. Nah, you are in the gaming business for 20 years plus at this point.
Yeah.
And you need developers to explain to you why you fucking suck? I mean, I hope they ask the developers to be painfully honest with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, bro, these developers gonna tell them exactly what the fuck it is. You, as a gaming company, failed to the absolute maximum you can fail as a gaming company.
Yep.
All this ABK, all this Bethesda bullshit, all of that did not help you. We need to have different SKUs so more poor ass people can buy our console didn't help you. It only made it even worse. Like, bruh, why do the developers have to tell them the obvious? I don't understand it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, bro, Phil literally admitted on the Kind of Funny interview, he fucking sucks, bro. So why does he need more abuse than you already got for this shit?
Yeah. Yep. I think that the reason why they don't want to meet these people cold blood is because they don't want to hear what they have to say in person. And to me, that's cowardly.
But Moss, what if Mark Cerny did that? Not go personally to them, but ask them to send them a fucking text or something.
Yep.
We would not get a PS5 like that.
Yep.
Probably would still have a fucking HDD in that motherfucker. Still loading for years. Bro, what the fuck, man?
Yep. Totally agree.
No, you have to go to the developers, ask them what the fuck do you need for you to come to our platform. It's that easy.
Yep.
They're gonna tell you exactly what they want, and if you can provide it, good for you. You have another partner. If you can't provide it, well, start problem solving.
Yep.
Why do you have thousands of people at Microsoft getting paid over 100,000 a year?
Yeah.
They just sit there, bro, doing nothing. Make them fucking work.
Yeah. To me, I wouldn't even put anything like this out. Like I would.
Oh no! Wait! Oh no! Actually, they can't work because you laid them off. I'm sorry. Fuck you, Xbox. Like seriously.
Yeah.
You took a whole ass ABK just to fire, bro, 50% of them at this point. At least. If not even more.
Yeah.
So yeah, in my opinion, bro, this shit won't go anywhere. This is absolute fucking air, bro. they just pretend like they want to listen.
Yeah. T. Harris said, Brap talking about Halo and you talking about this, Xbox is dead, it's over. But I think the bigger thing is Phil is still employed. Yeah, that's the problem.
Absolutely.
That's the problem in a nutshell.
But if Satya wants him to be employed, but make him fucking work then, bro. Like I don't understand it. Like, what is he doing right now? Running around telling people, oh, the X button should be there, not here, on this controller. Like, bro, huh? He has time for shit like this, but can't make time for actually doing his fucking job as the head of gaming.
I think, to be fair, I think he's working, but on the wrong shit. Like, this motherfucker looks like he was
exactly
on a desert
That's
island
what I was
somewhere.
telling you.
Look at him, bro. Like, he looks like he's been drained of every single fluid in his body. He is stressed out. He is stressed out.
Yeah, buddy,
I mean,
not doing good.
Yeah, I'm not saying I feel sorry for him. The problem is like, okay, he's incompetent. If I were to go to an 8-year-old, give him my keys and say, all right, I need you to parallel park this truck in between this tight space, and they end up wrecking the two cars. Is the 8-year-old at fault? Or is it me, the motherfucker that gave him the keys? Like, you know, Satya has to be looked at too, because he's the guy that's putting them there, even though he's done nothing but fail repeatedly. We ran off the list of failures. And secondly, Phil's just out of his league. Phil, at some point in time, even an 8-year-old is going to say, well, you know, you might have some 8-year-olds like, yeah, thank you for giving me these keys, and might flip the car over. Or some might responsibly say, I can't drive a car. What are you talking about? They be scared to death. I don't belong behind no wheel. And at some point in time, I you know, Phil has to just say, I'm out of my league, man. I'm stepping down. Because he's done nothing but fail. Nothing but fail. You Phil, you didn't save anything. You saved Xbox in name only. You got all these people's hopes up where they're doing nothing but having these parasocial relationships with you, and they're wasting their money. At least Stadia gave me my money back. Shit. These people are just wasting their fucking money. Out here port begging, doing all types of shit. You're playing with their emotions. Even if after you leave, which I doubt, like, Phil, just step down, bro. Like, do yourself a favor, do your family a favor, see your kids off to college, spend time with your family. You made hand over fist, man. You made hand over fist. You're fine. You're financially astute. Unless you got like a bad coke habit, you're good. Gambling problem, unless that's the issue. You keep torturing yourself like this, you're good. And you're Phil Spencer, man. You can show up in your jeans and your Crocs. Hey, it's me. Oh, Phil, the former head of Xbox. How you doing, brother? Yeah, man, I heard you guys were working on a new game. I'd like to try it out. Oh, shit, hell yeah, dude, here. Hey, look, guys, it's Phil Spencer. He's trying out our game. Now, they ain't gonna listen to no advice you give them, but the fact that you're there, you know, it's cool for them. Just like Mike Ybarra when he went to fucking Sweden or somewhere and was playing some game he had heard about, and they welcomed him with open arms. You would get welcomed with open arms no matter where you went. Hey, I heard you guys had a new game. I want to try it out. You can live you love gaming so much, bro, you'll never have to buy a game again. You could play shit, alpha, beta, whatever, you know, all that shit. But this right here is not your stick, Phil. You need to quit. You need to quit and let somebody else come in who actually can not just play games, but can determine what makes a good game. So amongst all this shit that's happening that is dog shit with Xbox, at the very least, Xbox gamers can start getting some great games again. Like at the very least. Like the way Satya got them positioned, they'll never be the stewards of excellent gaming experiences like they were back in the day, which is sad, but still. In order for that to be a possibility, Satya would have to go too. Satya would have to go. Someone would have to come in that has somewhat of a respect of the gaming culture, sees what gaming can do for Microsoft in the future. And then so therefore they hire someone and put someone ahead of Xbox that again has even bigger respect and understanding of gaming culture and can make Xbox, a great place to play games at again. But until that unlikelihood happens, Phil, just step down at the very least. Give someone else a try. It can't get any worse. It literally can't get any worse. It can't get any worse. All right, let's go to our chat and see what people are talking about. Mary Wilcox says, man, Overboard, how much longer are they going to hold the line for a platform that's digging its own grave? I don't know, man. It's I don't even know what the end goal is at this point. Andrew Wilkins says Xbox fans don't even like Forza, Gears, and Halo. Oh shit. Satya Ho Slate Nadella, I've been seeing you out on the scene, my good brother. It says bots claiming Concord was the biggest failure in gaming hiding right now. They doing bad. Not Your Mother says 6.5. Yeah, that was the score. So somebody is definitely that had a negative score is actually weighted more. Like somebody, and I'm assuming. Let's see, where's that Metacritic at? I'm going to assume. And was that Starfield? Scattered Space, Metacritic. All right, here it goes. So I'm going to assume that who is it? I'm going to assume that Gaming Bible, Xbox Era, and Pure Xbox are probably weighted at like a 0.6. They're not a one for one match for scores. They're probably like a 0.65 themselves instead of like a whole 1v1 match, meaning when you do it, when you come up with an average, you don't count them as a whole entity towards the average. They only count as 0.65. I think Guardian probably averages more into like they're probably a 1v1 average, where I think Pure Xbox, Gaming Bible, and Xbox Era is probably like a 0.65, but definitely what's it called is weighted more. Hold on one second. Yeah. So, and that makes sense. because we know Xbox Era is a fan site, pure Xbox. I mean, you know, fan site. Guardian would be less of a, you know, fan site place you would hope. So that would make sense. But
Boss, just show them what I sent you. This is all you need to see.
Hold on, let me. Let's put this up here. Let's put this up here. All right, this is from our good friend Gene Park. He says this looks shattered, all right. Hold on, let's pause this music. Rewind this back. This is Shattered Space. Gene Park. Hold on. Where is? Never find there. Like this.
I see why Anasco spoke to you. You seem a charitable soul. What is it? I need to prepare.
What the? Okay. Yeah, that's kind of weird. That is definitely weird. And yeah, I mean, at the very least, and this is another thing too why I say this is why I say that Phil needs to step down. There's no benefit to gamers outside of games coming to Game Pass that gamers see from Xbox absorbing these games, right? Like, you're going to get games that come to Game Pass, but you can expect the quality to lessen. Why? Because Xbox is they're gutting people beyond redundancies here. Like, these studios are getting gutted beyond redundancies. So you're seeing that. You're seeing studios like Bethesda, who, you know, have been hit and miss in the last few years, never looked as bad as they did with Starfield. Like, this seems like, you know, you could look at Fallout, you could look at Youngblood, which I didn't mind Youngblood. I thought Youngblood was cool for what it was. And say, okay, this is Bethesda at a low point. But it's Bethesda, it's just at a low point. You can say that with those games, but Starfield doesn't even feel like a Bethesda game. It feels like an attempt at a Bethesda game, a very bad attempt, but an attempt nonetheless. And like, you got to ask yourself, where do we go from here? It really contradicts and destroys the necessity of having Xbox even acquire these companies. What, for Game Pass? Okay, so if these companies being acquired by Xbox and these games going on Game Pass is so great, how come Game Pass is stagnant? I mean, objectively, if this objectively is great for gamers as a whole, I'm not talking about just you or you with the Phil Spencer tramp stamp above your ass line. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about, if this is so objectively good for gaming, how come Game Pass is at a standstill? How come Game Pass is underperforming? It's not underperforming. It's doing great. Yeah, it's doing so great. That's why they got rid of you fucking ambassadors, because they were giving you all. They knew they couldn't just take away your Game Pass. So they just said, fuck it. Let's just get rid of the ambassadors program.
You know what could maybe save Game Pass?
What's that?
Put that fucker on Steam.
Yeah, I could.
Because nobody wants to deal with this Microsoft app.
Mm-hmm. But Steam ain't gonna want that. Steam wants them games.
No. Of course you're gonna pay Steam a fucking hefty sum, bro.
Mm-hmm. Steam want them game sales. Yeah, you would have to pay them a hefty sum. Yeah. You would have, yeah.
But if it's all about the amount of Game Pass subs you get, this is your one way of trying to get there.
That is true. Wasn't there an article somewhere where it was being rumored that, and again, I don't think this was like a fan site article. I thought it was rumored somewhere that Steam and Xbox were in talks about Game Pass coming. I thought I saw that somewhere. Let me look. No, that's a good point. Game Pass coming to Steam rumor. I could have sworn. Hold on. Here's some YouTuber. I'm not gonna play what he says. Who is this? Bloom Gaming. 9 days ago says Xbox huge announcements coming. Xbox deals are now. Some person. See here. Oh, here goes something actually from Xbox era. This is interesting, even though this is an Xbox fan site. Let's see here. Let's look and see. This is actually interesting. So this is from Xbox era, and it says rumor. Oh, this is from the forums. Oh, Lord Jesus Christ. Valve is trying to get Game Pass on Steam. Seems to stem from someone who has quite the following in his Steam-specific coverage. The host answers in a way that is not the slightest bit hesitant. Boom, he says. Nah, I don't. Okay, that's on their forums. So that's totally beside that one. Hold on. NeoGav has something. Okay, this Tyler McVicker. I think I remember seeing that Valve. And I would play it, but I don't know if I remember seeing something somewhere. Excuse me. Yep, here it goes. Xbox Game Pass could be coming to Steam. Here goes from comicbook.com. Let's put this up here. I'd rather put this up here. Let's see. Let me close out all this other shit. It says Xbox Game Pass could be coming to Steam. Xbox Game Pass may be coming to Steam. In the past, we've heard that Xbox Game Pass is coming to Nintendo Switch and even PlayStation consoles, but so far, none of these rumors have come to fruition. That said, it looks like rather than bringing the popular growing subscription service to Nintendo and PlayStation, Xbox Phil Spencer and his team may bring it to Valve's dominant PC storefront. This report comes to way of Tyler McVicker, an industry insider best known for his scoops and reports on all things Valve. Speaking during a recent Q&A over on YouTube, McVicker revealed that Valve is trying to get the subscription service on Steam. Unfortunately, this is all McVicker reveals. In other words, there's no word how this pursuit is going or if Microsoft are interested. Phil Spencer has said in the past that he wants to bring Xbox Game Pass to as many platforms as possible, but to do that, Xbox Live Gold has to be made available on the same platform, which is a big reason why we haven't seen subscription services on Nintendo, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. Furthermore, Microsoft has invested in the PC space with the Windows Store, which may or may not complicate the deal. Alas, all we can do is speculate. If Xbox Game Pass on Steam is being discussed by Valve and Microsoft, neither have tipped their hat to these discussions, nor either commented on this new report from Vicker. So, if for now, take everything with a grain of salt. Okay. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, that would save Game Pass. That would, but it would do it to behoost to the Windows Store, which Microsoft wants to make a viable competitor. Here's the problem, Cold Blood. I think that with Phil Spencer, you got two options. None of these things can be managed from a production standpoint from Phil. I think, I hate to tell you, I don't even think Xbox should be making games. Like, I don't even think they should be having studios. This is going to sound crazy. I don't think they should have studios. Nothing about Phil Spencer is competent from a quality management standpoint. I think at the crux of what Phil Spencer should do is Phil Spencer should be the gaming mastermind who comes up with ideas on behalf of Microsoft. And what Phil does is his job is to work with some staff, and they collaborate with different people to see their vision through. They just do a bunch of partnerships. We want to be on the cloud. Okay, so we partner with NVIDIA GeForce Now to put our games on the cloud. We want we want a gaming store on PC. We partner with Steam for that gaming store. We want what do you call it? We want a game made. Okay, Xbox partners, and they live and die off of second party development. I think the problem is Phil managing this stuff. So what's going to have to happen is either Satya has to realize, either Phil's, I think the smartest approach is to get rid of Phil. You should be able to manage this stuff. But if you can't, get rid of Phil. That's the smartest thing to do. But if you feel like you trust Phil for some reason and you can't let him go, then you should own none of these entities. Like none of it should be owned by Phil. You're simply getting Phil to scout the gaming landscape for partnerships, and then he comes back to you with the ideas and the amount that it's going to cost in order to finalize it, and you write the check. That's it. That's it. So you want Call of Duty on Game Pass? Okay, fine. Activision, we're gonna write you $1 billion check. Because here's the problem: people say $1 billion. What? Do you guys not think that for Microsoft to run Activision, they're not spending $1 billion a year to run and make games at Activision, that they're not spending $1 billion anyway? Huh? What do you got? You think this is free? So Microsoft just hey, look, in order to put Call of Duty on Game Pass, let us give you $1 billion, and then if there's any extra residuals or anything like that, you'll get 15%, or you'll get 30% of those or whatever. You know what I mean? That's what I would do. Microsoft's problem is managing all this stuff. Your product is Game Pass. The only things that Microsoft should manage, I don't even think they should make their consoles anymore. I think Microsoft should manage Game Pass. And Microsoft should, manage the Game Pass service and manage the Xbox product, but everything in relation to the Xbox product should be licensed out. Okay, here goes our console, and here goes a few people that are making the Xbox console. And if you want a high-end Xbox console, you got to go to Asus. They make the Xbox Obliterator. And then if you want a lower-end version of Xbox, then you got to go to, I don't know, fucking Mattel. They make the Xbox Bibble Babble. Like, license all this shit out. License all this stuff out. You play it. You see how it works, and if it's to your approval, you sign off on it and you move on. That would be I think that's Xbox's claim to fame. It's just to license, even down to the console. License everything out. You don't run your own cloud. You don't run your own nothing. It's just, we have this console infrastructure. We have these partnerships. And we're going to all these people to license out the hardware to put games on the service, and we're Microsoft. That's it. That's what I would do. So, I don't know. It's a crazy idea, but if you're going to keep Phil Spencer, that's the only way that I think that you can keep Phil Spencer and see some success. You're not going to see success with Xbox as long as Phil Spencer is in charge. Period. I think that's pretty much it that we have for the show, but let's go through some of these comments. Man Overboard, tell me it. I just have it on PlayStation 5 Pro. Everything tied to Microsoft is trash. Last Call of Duty was terrible. Yeah. I know a lot of people say, Microsoft doesn't have a lot to do, didn't have much to do with that. I wouldn't say so for sure. I don't think Microsoft had input on the actual game itself. They may have had a little bit of input. I think what happened was, because Stephen Totilo reported this. Shout out to Stephen Totilo. He reported that when it came down to ABK, there was two companies that were going to buy them. Company A, we still to this day don't know who it is. It came down to another company in Microsoft, who was Company B. We know Company A is another company. We still don't know who it is. They offered less money for ABK, but they weren't going to gut them. And Company B is Microsoft, and ABK knew that they were going to gut them. And it pretty much came down to Bobby Kotick and the board, who said, we don't give a, there was actually a debate or discussion of should we sell to Microsoft, and then Bobby Kotick and whoever was siding with him was like, why do we even give a fuck? Like, this is a payday beyond our beliefs. Like, we're take the payday, go to Cancun, shut the fuck up. And that's what they end up doing. The problem is that Microsoft gutted them the way that they gutted them, and because they don't know what they're doing. They're going well beyond redundancies. Like, there was a reason that Activision Blizzard was bloated the way that they were, because to make the biggest game in the world and maintain that status year after year after year for over a decade, there's got to be a lot of hands in the kitchen, and Microsoft doesn't understand that. They think that they can just conveyor belt the process. Not saying that Call of Duty was the most, ambitious game out there year over year, but there was a lot of hands even doing that reduplicated process. Microsoft said, "Oh, we can just do that. All we need is the most essential people," and they don't understand what makes a good product. So them scaling back and saying, "Oh, we don't need this or we don't need that," is going to be horrible to the brand. And I think what ended up happening was the people knew that they were going to get gutted. I think it started to trickle down that people knew they were going to get gutted, for one, and for two, they realized who they were working for. So even if the game did suck, so what? All of Microsoft's catalogs suck. There's not going to be, serious repercussions outside of what they're already going to do, because this thing will still make money. So they felt less pressure. There was less pressure, I think, to at least live up to the minimum standard that they usually live up to. El Apache says, "My boy MM2K, what's up, son? What's going on, bro? What's going on?" PS5 Pro day one for me and disk drive, absolutely. I get what you're saying. I'm leaning there. I think, you know what? No. I think I finally got a path forward. My Best Buy credit card. I think I could still trade. Can I still trade in I think I could still trade in, and I'm gonna trade in the Best Buy, and I'm gonna use my Best Buy credit card to get my PlayStation 5 Pro with the remaining balance. So I think I'll be doing that soon. I am going to finish Stellar Blade, though. I'm going to finish Stellar Blade and Spider-Man. So I told you guys there's games that I'm going to make up to you. There's several games. There's a game called Witcher or Witchfire. I really like that game. I think it's called Witchfire. I really like how that game is looking. That might be the next game that I pick up. And Cold Blood is going to be playing some Silent Hill. You know what I mean? So we're going to make up for the football that we had yesterday with Space Marine 2. But that's what I think happened. It's just funny how quiet they've been about Stalker 2 and any prediction delayed or trash. Just wait till we see the free BO6 Fallout. ABK didn't help Xbox or Game Pass. If COD doesn't help Game Pass, nothing will. I will say this. I will push back on that a little bit, Dark Zone, because ABK saved Xbox. It didn't make it competitive. But can you imagine if Xbox doesn't have ABK, they're like Phil Spencer said it, they're not making it beyond 2027. Now, what type of Xbox are we getting? We're getting a third-party publisher who's experimenting into creating a direct-to-gamer platform. Like Ubisoft. You guys may not realize this, but Ubisoft now has a cloud service. It's in beta, but if you download the Ubisoft Connect app, you can play Avatar via the cloud. That's their cloud service now. Now they're licensing it from somebody and it's being powered by AWS, I believe. But yeah, even Ubisoft now has its own cloud service. It's on other cloud services, but they're beta testing their own cloud service. So here's what's going on. You're starting to see third-party devs and publishers experiment with their direct to consumer services. And all Xbox is converting to is a third-party publisher with direct to consumer services. And basically they're on Fire TV. They're going to make a handheld, possibly. I don't think any of this. They've greenlit some things, but you know what Xbox, like we just showed you with, first they canceled Lockhart, then they brought Lockhart back. Who knows what Xbox is going to officially release? Nobody knows. Because why doesn't nobody know? Because Xbox doesn't even know. They have no idea. Now you're going to hear something, I think, in December about what their plans are, but we know Xbox plans are beyond malleable. They're as malleable as foam and lava. They are malleable. So who knows? But Xbox was saved by ABK. If it wasn't for ABK, 2027, like Phil said, during the FTC trial, they would be closing down. I have no doubt about that. Because there's nothing but negative. The console isn't selling. Game Pass is at a standstill. All their legacy business outside of ABK is on a negative trend. It's horrible. It is horrible. Xbox would be shutting down by 2027. Definitely. If Starfield was the ultimate litmus. If Starfield couldn't revitalize Xbox as a brand because they marketed that as the biggest game ever, like that was their biggest hopes. Everything was resting on the laurels of Starfield. What do they have now? They can't go exclusive with any of the ABK stuff. ABK is too attached to PlayStation. It doesn't survive without PlayStation. So what are they going to go exclusive with? Nothing. They're not going exclusive with anything. So any of the legacy stuff that they can toy with exclusivity with, which Fable is going to do it? You think Fable is going to be the game changer? Blade? You think Blade is going to? Stop it. So yeah, ABK saved Xbox from closing down. The question is, what type of Xbox are we getting now? And we're just getting a third-party publisher who is going to have, I don't know if significant is the right word, but it's going to have a heavy footprint in its direct-to-consumer services. They're going to have more hardware. They're probably going to license out who can make their hardware. They're going to be on Fire TVs. They're going to have a lot of direct to consumer avenues for their third party games. Ubisoft is doing the cloud streaming of Call of Duty. No, Corey Massey. No, there's two things going on here. You're talking about something else. Yeah, it also says Witchfire is like a first-person Remnant 2. Yeah, and I like Remnant, so I really want to try this Witchfire. But no, Corey, Ubisoft has the streaming license, meaning they can determine which cloud services can stream certain games. They're not streaming it themselves. They're just like, for instance, they're going to GeForce Now and they're like, oh, you want to be able to stream Starfield? Okay, here's how much it's going to cost you, or here, whatever. Or yeah, you're allowed to stream it, and whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? They're negotiating who gets to stream what. That's what they're doing with the licenses. But Ubisoft, for their own personal games, Ubisoft is creating a cloud service for their own personal games and probably these games as well. They have their own cloud service that isn't tethered to GFN or xCloud or Amazon Luna, none of it. They are now rolling out their own cloud service, which right now is just beta testing Avatar. So you can play Avatar 1080p on their cloud service. And what they're trying to do is their cloud service likely deploys AI and machine learning. So as people test it out, it's building its AI and machine learning so they can expand their own cloud service. That's going to be their way of doing direct to consumer stuff. So maybe if you don't have, even if you don't have a PC, you can probably play Ubisoft games on a Fire TV 2 directly. You don't need Game Pass. You don't need, you know what I'm saying? You don't need, what the fuck you call it? GeForce Now. If you got Ubisoft Plus that lets you rent out Ubisoft games at a fee, probably for an additional $2 or so, you can get, and you'll be able to get Ubisoft's cloud streaming service, and you could just play your Ubisoft games on a Fire TV or whatever without having to have an additional service. That's direct to consumer. So, all right, it's 4:00. I gotta go. We out of here. But Cold Blood, you have any final thoughts before we get out of here, brother?
Just build a PC.
And Ubisoft is number one. All right. Until next time, y'all. We will see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.